To a world where everyone and their sister has a podcast comes another one. Join us weekly as we explore the dark back alleys of irreverence and the spider-infested corners of nerd kind. This is the Irreverent Nerd Podcast. Greetings, fellow nerds. Welcome to this special edition of the Irreverent Nerd Podcast. I'm the Irreverent Nerd, and sitting beside me is a man who calls himself Cartoonist Will. Cartoonist Will, say hello to the people.
Hi.
Will and I have been friends for 18 years now, almost 18 years. I think 2004 is back when we first started connecting.
Should I have studied for this?
Nah, this is freeform, man. We have our general topics in mind, but yeah, he and I met in college back in 2004, I believe, or at least we were in the same English class, I think, spring of 2004. We were in English Composition 102, I think. And
you were nice to me, so I bugged you all summer because I had no friends. I'm kidding, I have friends, just one of those weird people.
No, man, that was the beginning of a long and beautiful friendship, as they say. It's still going on today. And like I've talked about in some of my previous episodes, as I was announcing this upcoming special episode, one of the things that Will and I do is whenever there's a new comic book themed movie that comes out, we go and see it together. We're both lonely nerds. No, I'm just kidding. We've just been doing that for a long time.
Well, my wife's not a nerd, so I'm very lonely.
Yeah, my wife, she enjoys the Marvel movies. She'll watch those with me. But yeah, she's not into comics, and she'll watch Batman. She's okay with Batman.
I got Mandy into Once Upon a Time and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but now those are over.
There you go. Once Upon a Time. I watched a few of those. They're okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot to announce. So for now, anyway, this might change later, but we are calling ourselves collectively the Camel City Comic Geeks.
No.
You'll just have to guess what that means or look it up. Those of you who live near where we are, you'll know what that means. We're not going to tell you. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. I can't make a tell joke here.
Yeah. So, we, as advertised, have gotten together tonight to talk about Batman. Obviously, we're going to discuss the film that just came out, The Batman.
Actually, I don't live in Camel City, so I would be safe. No, I'm kidding.
That's true. You don't technically.
Cutting you off.
You did grow up there though, so close enough. And we do normally.
That was a town outside of that.
We normally gather in the Camel City because that's where we go to see the movies together.
That's true, actually. My town doesn't have a movie theater.
Oh yeah, that's right.
My other town.
Yeah, it's a small town. I don't think does it even have a downtown. No.
It is.
It's like a suburb.
You can call it a town.
It's a suburb of Camel City.
It's in its name.
Yeah. This is the Camel City suburb. That's what it's called.
So, all right, what are we here for?
We're here to talk about Batman. As we both love Batman.
I'm here to cut him off and make jokes.
That's right.
Batman.
Yeah, exactly. We're here to have fun and talk together about Batman. And we did not script this. We have a very loose outline.
You poor people.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But we both have, what would you call our sense of humor?
Well, my wife says my sense of humor is inappropriate.
Mine is occasionally inappropriate as well. I like puns. I like kind of dry wit. I don't know if that's the right word.
I like slapstick, but I don't think we can get that on audio.
Yeah, not so much. Sarcasm. I think we both like sarcasm. We both, or at least appreciate sarcasm.
I grew up on Garfield. He grew up...
I grew up on Garfield, too.
To be on Garfield. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not on the show, obviously, but watching it.
Yeah, I totally grew up on the show.
Let's see.
I was on set.
Although, you would have been really... I'm a little older than Will. He was born, well, not much though. So you would have been a kid when it was live as well, right? When it was new episodes coming out every week. Did you watch it on Saturday mornings? That's when I watched it.
Yeah, on CBS, right?
Probably 6 a.m. I think is when it came on.
Well, I read the comic strips, and
Like, I lived in Arizona at the time, and I had a buddy that, like, for a while, I had this friend, like, in, I think, 3rd grade and 4th grade. We would, like, spend the night. We would take turns spending the night at each other's houses, like, every Friday. His name was Daniel. And so every Friday we would alternate, but without fail, Saturday morning we would watch, there was 2 shows that we would catch. Land of the Lost, I believe that's the right name, with, like, the claymation monsters and stuff, and, like, I think it was a live-action claymation mix, which is really interesting. But then, of course, Garfield and Friends. I don't think we ever failed to miss that. I have this memory of watching it on. He had this tiny little TV in his kitchen that sat up on the refrigerator. I think it was color, but it was like probably a 9-inch TV or something. And we were sitting there eating cereal. I don't know. This is way off topic, but what was your first memory of Garfield and Friends that you can recall?
Well, I would say probably the theme song. My little brother and I used to jump up and down on our parents' beds when they weren't around it and know it, dancing to the theme song.
Oh, yeah.
I also read the comic strip, though. I don't know.
That's something we might have in common. Because you drew some Garfield comics of your own, right?
Yep. Well, I am cartoonist, Will, and I credit my early love for Garfield with exposure to other comic strips and wanting to do that to myself. No, I am not famous. You do not have to bow in my presence.
What if I want to, Will?
I'm an amateur. Okay.
But you do have 2 comics that you have self-published, though.
Right. And I just had a short story come out written by Dave No.
Really? You illustrated it?
Crackerjack Comics #1. Yeah, I illustrated it.
Nice. That's right. You've done a few illustration of comics over the years, right?
Yeah, I was I hired to do the artwork for one children's book about 12 years ago, and I guess that came out more like 10 years ago, actually. So it took me 2 years to do the illustrations, and
I think I remember one. You had this one where you were drawing. It was like superheroes at a nursing home. What was that called?
No. That was Brock Heasley. He does Super Fogies.
Yeah.
But a character based on me does appear on 2 different pages of the comic strip.
Didn't you do a couple pages of Super
Oh,
Fogies?
yeah.
Like he wanted like fan submissions or something, or
I did.
friend submissions. Yeah, because I remember you drawing it and showing it to me.
Well, there was one where Super Milo bursts into the nursing home and chases down the space pig.
Oh, yeah.
And I did some follow-up comic strips for that.
Makes me think of the Muppets. Space pig, or no, pigs in space.
I don't think... who knows? Maybe that's where he got the idea. I don't know.
Could be.
But I don't think I finished the follow-up comic strips, and he might have thought I was joking when I described the next thing to him and said, "You want it?" And he was like, "Nope, that's disturbing." Anyway,
but your main one, like, you started when you what, 10, maybe younger, doing Super Milo?
Yeah.
9. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Garfield influenced me, and so Super Milo is a superhero cat. Just marries my love for superheroes like Batman the Animated Series with my comedy and stuff.
Yeah, and you eventually self-published on Kablam, right? Using Kablam,
right?
Is that still what you use these days? Or?
What was the other website? Well, Kablam is the printing company. Indie Planet. Indie Planet is the web store.
Okay.
I've got 2 series up on there, Super Milo and Gospel Man, and that's like a little under 10 books collective right there. But Crackerjack Comics #1 is on Amazon. I did a chapter and a half of a comic called Hip Hop with writer Dan Johnson.
Oh yeah, and he worked on Dennis the Menace, right?
Right, and Mark's Trail, and he worked through Antarctic Press doing a manga. He wrote a manga, Herc and Thor. He used to work with Campfire, doing a series of classic public domain stories, adapted them to comic book form, like Jungle Book or
nice.
I can't remember everything he did there. I definitely own the Jungle Book one.
I think you guys, did you all get connected through like a Comic-Con or something like that, right?
Cassie Davis.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let's not say full names on here.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
She's a ghost.
Yeah.
Probably changed her name several times.
Forget that you heard that. Anyway, a friend named Cassie.
We can edit that out in post-editing, right?
Maybe. We'll see. I don't think anybody's going to chase her down on this little podcast.
Do you know how many Cassie Davises are probably out there?
I'm sure there's
again. Oh no,
that's true.
Oh no,
it's okay. We're not sharing our last names, so they won't be able to make the association. Hopefully, if they do and they come after you, I'm sorry, Cassie.
I'm a public figure.
If you ever hear this, I'm like, yeah, we're in the minor leagues, so, but you never know. This could blow up someday.
Well, I just thought that was funny. I think they played Star Trek multiplayer games over the internet together, but she knew of Dan somehow, and and introduced me to him. I had no idea who Dan was, and he was like, "Would you like to do some Star Trek artwork for a Star Trek fan magazine?" I was like, "Sure."
Nice.
And I did Picard as a Borg. What was that, Locutus or something?
Locutus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I did. It wasn't my best artwork. It was...
Oh, yeah. Shout out here, by the way. Actually, it's funny you say that. There's somebody I got connected with on Instagram. It's another podcast called Trek Untold. Oh. So shout out to Trek Untold. I told them, like, they posted... I started following them because I was, like, trying to find a bunch of nerdy stuff on Instagram, stuff that I love, and follow it as the Irreverent Nerd. I already follow that kind of stuff in my normal page, but, like, as the Irreverent Nerd, like, following other nerdy sites that I love, Trek being one, obviously. But they just came out with an episode about Locutus, like, and Picard's time as a Borg and recovering from being a Borg. So shout out to you guys. So just made me think of that. So anyway, continue, my friend. So you did, I think I remember you showing me that, like, Patrick Stewart as, or, Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, it was some early artwork of mine. I probably just got my Wacom tablet. I'm still in college. I don't know if they ever used it or not. Never got my hands on that particular issue of the fanzine. But yeah, that's how I met Dan, and he got me the job on the illustrating the children's book when I was job hunting, and we just started working together. It didn't lead to any massive paying jobs, and if I need to clear my schedule and get to my computer because I'm doing some coloring for Redline Comic Studio, and that's supposed to pay a few dollars. I'm gonna sell that to the publishing companies. We're looking to put that particular story that I'm not correction. There is a colorist. I'm just doing shading and lighting, but
that's cool.
I can talk more about that on the internet once that actually is finished and we shopped it around and gets picked up. We're hoping to get it put into a sci-fi anthology comic book series. Was that Oni Press? I can't remember who does who. Well, anyway, that's not my job. That's Dan's job. Dan heads the Redline Comic Studio. We worked on another vast number of, well, not vast. We worked on quite a few things together over the past 10 plus years, but yeah, we got some stuff cooking, and
it's cool, man. Yeah, so let's see. So I think this is kind of turning into, like, what are our connections to the comic book world? Obviously, Will writes his own comics.
Yes.
Samurai Milo being one.
Well,
no,
Super
you've
Milo.
done. Yeah, you've also done Samurai Milo too.
Yeah,
right?
and that got me
Super
named.
Milo. I did.
Yeah. But yeah, my love for Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo mixed with Samurai Jack when that was actually new on TV. I did Samurai Milo, which is really just Super Milo with a samurai spin. It was a comedy. Right. I changed that, but I eventually gave up. I made it into more of a manga, instead of some sort of homage to Samurai Jack. I refined it, but I eventually just gave up on that because I just don't understand Japanese culture. I just wanted to make it a little more authentic.
Who does accept the Japanese? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, who can ever really fully understand someone else's... Like, we try...
True.
Like, even if we're, like, an expert in it, like, you'll never experientially be able to understand it the way someone who grew up in it would, you know. Like, you might understand it academically better than your average Japanese person if you're, like, a professor or something.
Maybe.
But, like, unless you lived it, it's like... Yeah, you know, can never... There's always going to be somewhat of a disconnect, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I wanted to do something that would honor what Stan Sakai gave us, and eventually I just moved on to Super Milo, which is my original version of Milo anyway, because I understand American culture. I understand superheroes. You know, still let the professionals like Stan Sakai do the Japanese stuff. You know, he can do it better justice.
Yeah, and I think don't you have like the full series or pretty close, right, of his like... of the Usagi Yojimbo?
I have every book up until IDW, and I've got like 2 of the IDW. When I say book, I mean trade paperbacks. I don't have any of the sagas.
Does he do them? I was trying to remember. Does he do them in manga style, like right to left kind of thing? Like,
no, he does it left to right.
Left to right. Okay.
He was born in Hawaii, but although he's a Japanese biologically, he lives in California today. Mm-hmm. He obviously understands and has a great love for the Japanese country and culture.
Was he second gen? Like, did his parents immigrate to Hawaii from Japan?
Yeah, I think that was the story.
So he would have
that's the story I heard.
A fairly close connection to the culture then, because his parents were born and raised in Japan, and yeah.
I think that's what happened.
That's cool. I'm sure that was like a way of him exploring his own cultural background. Anyway, let's see. That might be... We should probably transition to Batman here shortly, since that's supposed to be the theme.
We should.
So I'm actually going to pause this recording, and we're going to check our levels, as they say, and we'll jump into Batman in the next segment. So we'll be right back. Hey nerds, Richard here, taking a moment to talk to you about the podcast. If you have enjoyed one or all of our episodes, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and or follow us. We are on Spotify, Google, and Apple. If you're listening on Apple, please take a moment to leave us a review. It really does help. And let your friends know as well. Shout it from the rooftops. Come on, you know you want to. And we're back. So, we are now going to talk about Batman. I thought we'd start by discussing our first experiences with the Batman comics. I believe I've already shared a bit of mine over the course of my podcast, so tell me about your first experience with Batman comics.
Well, not a comic, but...
or just Batman in general, that's fine too. Your first memories. My
first introduction to Batman would be the combination of the 1989 Michael Keaton film and the Batman animated series. I'm not certain if I was aware of Batman before then. I probably was through the Super Friends, but I don't really have any fond memories of Super Friends.
Super Friends.
It never really appealed to me, the Super Friends. But anyway, so from there, from Batman the Animated Series, I discovered DC Comics eventually. My mom is, at that time in the 90s, I should say was an antique dealer of sorts. And so she found these old, crusty comics that weren't really in a good condition to sell, I guess, from the 60s and 70s. And they were a bunch of Superman and Batman comics and some Teen Titans. But so, you know, that was actually an introduction for me to the actual Batman comics. I remember some weird story called the Sons of the Super Sons or something. It was this one of those imaginary tales of the earlier, campier DC comics, where
as opposed to the rest of the comic book world, right? Sorry,
I don't know, it was the 60s. It was the 60s.
No, you said imaginary, and I was like, as opposed to the rest of it. I was like, sorry, I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
No, that's what. Back decades ago.
I think I know what you're saying, though. It's like a vignette inside of the comics kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not a part of the main continuity.
Right.
Every now and then, the writers would be allowed to do a quote-unquote imaginary tale, and they would say so in the narration blocks to let people know that this was not in continuity. They were like one-shots.
like a what if.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost.
Yeah. So maybe this is one of those imaginary tales. I'm not sure, but it was this weird comic where I don't remember anything about it except for the beginning of the story. Because that's back when DC did these weird introductions. Really classic comic introductions. Like the first thing would be like some splash page. Maybe it'd be the cover, maybe it'd be the first page, but it'd be this like strange thing like, oh no, the Legionnaires have decided to vote out Superboy. They're going to send him to his death or something, and they're all about to push the death button or something like that, something crazy. You have to read the thing to figure out what the world is going on. So it was one of those things. The ghost of Superman and the ghost of Batman were reaching out over their like future sons and like, no, don't. How we must somehow save our future super sons from something.
These are like the DC Force ghosts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
And these were probably more like 70s books. I just can't remember. So maybe Star Wars was already a thing, or I don't know.
Maybe somebody was high when they were when they're drawing it.
I don't know.
Or writing the story.
Maybe this is where George Lucas got it.
This seemed like a good idea at the time. No, that's
more gophers and refrigerators.
That sounds fun though. All right, so you saw Tim Burton's The Batman.
Yeah.
So I did my own review of that a couple weeks ago. Cool. Quick 2-minute take. Thumbs up, thumbs down, somewhere in between.
I haven't watched it in a long time, but my general feelings for the film ever since the 90s have been that I pretty much loved the whole thing except for Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
And that's only because I just didn't feel like it was Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you get almost anyone in that bat suit, and they're instantly Batman for some reason. But, I mean, unless they don't act like Batman. But,
Oh, yeah.
thank God that we didn't get Bill Murray as Batman.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about the other day. He was in the running for that role or something.
Yeah.
Or was he even his first choice? Tim Burton's first choice?
No. That was before Tim Burton was handed the project. It was. I think Ivan Reitman was going to direct at that point.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah,
Batman.
and
was it going to be more like the '60s TV show?
I think so.
Okay,
because it was about '81 when this was being thrown around. And
that makes a little more sense,
yeah.
Maybe with Bill Murray.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a campier version of Batman, but
I don't honestly though. I don't see him standing up to Adam West though. It's like, how do you beat Adam West? He's like the perfect straight man in that series. Like
I don't see Bill Murray as Batman.
Yeah,
I
don't.
No. He's just
no offense to Bill.
And
yeah.
I just. I don't know.
That would have been.
He could be the Playboy Bruce Wayne.
I wouldn't mind seeing an SNL skit of Bill Murray as Batman.
that might exist. I don't know. We should look for it.
Who knows? Yeah, it might. I'm sure he's done guest spots on there over the years.
But
so in general, I mean, obviously this is nostalgic for you as well because you saw it as a kid. I've told our audience, all 2 or 3 of them at this point, that I didn't see it till I was in my 20s, so I had already been spoiled on like the animated series and probably the Justice League cartoon, and then like Batman Begins, I think already, maybe even The Dark Knight before I finally saw Tim Burton's Batman.
Really?
So yeah, like when I saw it, I was like, I had the same reaction to the Bruce Wayne portrayal. I was like, he's so stiff. And Michael Keaton is great in other stuff. Like, you know, I like him in some recent stuff like The Founder, and then like he did the villain in the Spider-Man movie, which I thought he did a really good job at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like 89 Keaton, he didn't make me care about Bruce Wayne at all. He's like so stiff. So like it just didn't work for me. And then the Joker, I'm not a big Jack Nicholson fan anyway, but after I got spoiled on Mark Hamill, and then this might have even been after I saw Heath Ledger, I'm not totally sure. But I saw Jack Nicholson doing it, and I'm just like, it's like he's trying to channel the ghost of Cesar Romero, and it's just not working. And I was like...
But you've seen Cesar Romero as the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to say I like Jack Nicholson's better than Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero is on the bottom of my list. I'm sorry for anybody that's a Cesar Romero fan. I don't know of anyone who is, but he'd be at the bottom of my Joker actor list if I were to rank them. Like the top, obviously, Mark Hamill is my top. Heath Ledger's a close second, but
I don't know. I think I like Cesar Romero more than the guy who played Joker in the Suicide Squad.
Oh, Jared Leto?
Yeah.
he's more enjoyable than Jared Leto.
Okay.
I feel like if Jared Leto had gotten a full movie, though, it would have been interesting to see what he had done with it. Because did you see... Well, we watched the Snyder Cut together, so that little scene gave me a little bit of hope of like, oh...
Yeah, actually, I did like that.
That might actually be interesting.
And you know, I'm joking earlier. I joked, but to be fair, in Jared Leto's defense, it wasn't really his portrayal as the Joker I didn't like so much as the director's decision to make him all tattooed.
And like a gangster?
Yeah.
Like
just
gangster Joker.
It was just different. It was a different take on Joker I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
In love with that Joker.
I liked it better. What did they call that timeline? Like the one that they show briefly. It's like a dream sequence almost. I know there's a name for it. I can't think of it right now. The one in the Snyder Cut.
I can't remember
like
right
Superman
now.
is evil, or at least he's trying to... Yes. He's a foe of theirs anyway, of like Batman's, and somehow the Joker got allied in with them.
Yeah, it's the Dark Side one future. It's the... he got his hands on the Allspark. No, that's not it.
The Allspark.
The anti-life
Transformers.
Equation. Yeah.
The Allspark.
The MacGuffin.
And then Megatron got a hold of the Allspark. And I had to defeat him. That's my Optimus Prime.
I really hope they let Zack Snyder finish out his Justice League.
Oh yeah, I hope so too.
Plot there, but
yeah, because I enjoyed the Snyder Cut. Like, what Joss Whedon did with that, like, you know, and I like Joss Whedon, some of his other work, but he did not do a good job with what he brought into that. It just didn't. Yeah, nope.
There was a couple.
It's not just his fault. Like,
yeah,
DC or Warner Bros. I should say is more responsible. They just messed that whole thing up. Anyway, that's another topic.
Yeah, that's another topic.
Let's see. Okay, so I've talked about my love for Batman the Animated Series. You want to take a couple minutes, tell us about your affection for that?
Well, what is there to say? I love it. You love it. We all love it. Everybody loves it. Definitely.
Who's your favorite? I mean, aside from the Joker, of course. Who would be your second favorite villain in the series?
It's a tough one. Well, I'd say Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Maybe even my most favorite, but
oh, really? More than the Joker?
I don't know.
From the animated series,
but I don't really see her as a pure villain, though.
Yeah. Maybe more of a spoil, or occasionally an anti-hero as well. Like, yeah. Especially in the more recent stuff, I guess.
Oh, in the more recent stuff, she's definitely become more of a hero, anti-hero of some kind. But even in the animated show itself, you cared about Harley because.
She had psychological problems.
Yeah, she had psychological problems. It's
Which
like
is ironic considering
if it wasn't for the Joker, she wouldn't even be doing any of this stuff.
Maybe. Obviously, something was going on there, and somehow she became a psychiatrist. Wasn't in the animated series she was like Joker's psychiatrist, and then somehow developed an unhealthy attachment to him.
In the Batman animated series comics, they actually gave her origin, and then later they actually animated the whole comic in the 4th season of the show.
Nice.
And I've got both
That's why they got the first. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm more familiar with the first 3 seasons, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, I watched those when they were actually coming out. I think the 4th season I saw later in my life. But the first 3 I watched as they were being released. Like, so Harley Quinn's right up there with the Joker for you.
Well, I mean, I really love the character. If we're talking about a villain, I'm having a really hard time deciding anyone else in the show I really loved as much as the Joker. That's just a straight up villain. But there was a lot to love about the show because the characters weren't two-dimensional. I mean, they were well thought out. Killer Croc, he knew Robin from the circus, right? And then you have this Killer Croc, or am I thinking about the comics? I don't know. There's a lot of overlap too.
Yeah, I don't remember if you crossed paths with him in the animated series, but yeah, you did get a little bit more of his. Like, he got fleshed out as a character.
Yeah,
so did Clayface, and like the Riddler. The Riddler not as much. The Riddler didn't get as much backstory.
No, he didn't.
I just watched his origin episode recently and did a review of it, and he got maybe 5 minutes of backstory, and then he jumped into being the Riddler. Like,
the Clock King was just a throwaway villain.
Yeah, he's like the Riddler light.
You made me late. Now I'm evil.
Now, I will have to say that even though the Joker is my favorite villain, my favorite villain episode would have been Heart of Ice with Mr. Freeze.
Oh, yeah, it's been a long time. Actually, you're right. My favorite villain is Dr. Freeze, or Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze. Because he's a doctor.
So much better than Arnold.
Yeah.
I could not finish that movie, man. Like,
which movie?
The one with Arnold in it.
Yeah, so I was going to ask that earlier. If you had actually seen any of the other 3 90s Batman films.
Well, yes. Like, I saw Batman Returns. Didn't really like it. I do want to revisit it, but I hated the portrayal of the Penguin, especially. Like, Danny DeVito. And it's not just his fault. Yeah. I'm sure it was also director's choices and writing.
I love those penguins with the jetpacks and
those that was fun. That was fun. But his actual portrayal, especially after getting spoiled by the animated series, like I love the portrayal of the Penguin in the animated series. It evokes the Adam West series, kind of that refined gentleman approach to the Penguin.
I think that was season 4 though.
What's that?
The Penguin.
I mean, he was in the earlier seasons too, like.
Well, right, but the first 3 seasons of the Batman animated series, actually, the Penguin's artistic design was actually based on Batman Returns.
Yeah, he's definitely fat enough to be based on. But he has that roundness, I guess. That DeVito's not huge, but he has kind of a round
and that nose.
Yeah, and then the nose. Yeah,
but I do love the Penguin, though. I mean, I don't think he had the sewer backstory in the animated series, anything like that. But in season 4...
that was weird.
In season 4, they do... Huh?
No, that was in Batman Returns, right? Like, yeah, I forgot about that part. Like,
the nose? Are we talking about... No, not sliding of the nose.
The sewer origin.
Right, the sewer origin, right. But I was just going to say season 4 of Batman, the animated series, the Adventures Continue, or whatever it was called. They did the probably wise decision. I mean, I liked both designs, but they probably did the wise decision, and they reverted the Penguin's design basically back to the old animated. I didn't watch a lot of that older stuff, but Super Friends or whatever Batman cartoons existed a long time ago in the 60s or something. So basically, in season 4, he looks like how the Penguin is supposed to look.
I have to go back and watch some of the season. I know I've seen some of the episodes, but I'm not picturing the Penguin in my mind.
Just a drastic art change,
Anyway, we should probably save the rest of our TAS talk for an episode dedicated to that. We are having fun, and that's what this is about. So I'm gonna end this segment, and then in our final, our final substantial segment together, we're gonna talk about our reflections on The Batman, which just came out. So yeah.
Not a Batman, The Batman.
The Batman. We'll be right back. Hey guys, we are back. I'm Irreverent Nerd. This is cartoonist Will.
Hi.
And we are now going to share our further reflections on The Batman, Matt Reeves' film that came out just a couple weeks ago. Will got to see it opening night. I was supposed to go see it with him, but as I told you guys, I got COVID. I was diagnosed literally hours before showtime, so Will had to go by himself. Sorry, Will. So I went myself the following week.
I'm sorry you had to pay for 2 tickets.
Yeah, that kind of sucked. But, you know, it at the end of the day, still getting to see it, I was like, it didn't bother me at all paying for another ticket at the end of the day because it's such an awesome, amazing film.
It was.
So, I talked for like 30 minutes when I did my instant reaction review. You didn't get as long with yours, so I want to start with you. Like, now that you're about a week and a half out from seeing it, do you have further thoughts, reflections, ponderings, musings?
Well, you know, the worst thing about talking about something further out is that you get busy with life and you're not as fresh.
Yeah.
But
which is why I'm glad we both recorded something right after. So I'm glad we got that in.
Definitely.
But yeah, like now that we've had a little more time to think about maybe certain plot points, or maybe I don't know if you've listened to any, but I've actually avoided listening to anyone else's podcasts. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I wanted to like keep my own thoughts ready for when we talked. But anyway,
I actually listened to some people talk about different Batman comics on YouTube today because I was trying to refresh my memory on certain things, and I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But I mean, I definitely love this film. My instant reaction review was spoiler free. Are we doing spoiler free?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, we should. So I spoiled in my instant reaction.
Okay.
I gave everybody a warning.
I should have listened to yours.
Here's the warning now. I don't know why I'm leaning in. I have a lapel mic. Here's the warning now. iPad screen.
It's okay. We're talking with our hands.
Spoilers. This is a spoiler warning. We're going to talk about important and salient points. If you haven't seen it yet, shame on you for one. And you call yourself a Batman fan. No. I know there might be extenuating circumstances. So if you haven't seen it yet, don't listen to this segment. Go watch it first, please. Unless you're one of those weird people that really like to spoil yourself before you see something. I'm not one of those. Maybe that's mean, saying that you're weird because you are. Anyway, spoilers! So, okay, let's continue.
Yes. So, I'm unleashed, full reign, terror.
Yes. Beware. Run for your lives. I was trying to think of something clever to say. Sorry, anyway.
I expect most people have seen this by now, except for one friend of mine who pretty much is a hermit in his house, afraid of COVID. And
oh, man, that's sad. He's going to have to wait another 30 days before it's on HBO Max.
Nah, I'm sure he's downloading an illegal video already.
I briefly contemplated that after I had to stay home with COVID.
Yeah. You did? Okay.
I did, yeah, man, because I was really bummed. I was like,
was that on Pirate Day?
I've been waiting so long, and this thing got delayed so many times. I'm like, I was like, what's another week? But anyway.
Well, a shout out.
So what?
Name, okay.
Let's start with this.
You're right. Gotta get on topic.
What did you dislike about the film, if anything?
Emo Bruce Wayne.
Okay. I've heard someone else say something similar. They thought he was kind of depressing, I guess.
I might have liked him more than Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, though. I don't know. But, it makes sense that he's depressed and stuff, and it makes sense that he left the black makeup on because, man, cartooning is not my main job. The money doesn't come from cartooning, but on my days off work, and I have no plans to leave the house, working around the house and stuff, I don't shave or comb my hair or get out of my pajamas. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
I'm actually, unless I'm going to go outside. Today I did some spray painting outside on a prop I'm building, but not comic related, but artsy stuff. So I was dressed. But
actually, guys, that's code for he was tagging a wall out in the city.
I was. There's a big Batman logo.
Will was here. Anyway,
my website. I did that a lot.
So emo Bruce Wayne is something you disliked. about the film. So in other words, Robert Pattinson's performance as Bruce Wayne. Or were there moments where he was Bruce Wayne that you thought were okay?
Well, no. I thought that his Bruce Wayne was good. It's just that, and I'm sorry for getting off topic. The black makeup around his eyes. It just, when you think about it, it makes sense. He wouldn't. Why wash that off when he goes back to the Batcave or whatever you call that place in the film?
Oh yeah.
Which was different.
The Bat Basement.
Yeah, the Bat Basement. That was actually really different in this version.
Yeah,
of the
was
character.
it under Wayne Tower or something? Or at least the entrance was under Wayne Tower?
Well, not exactly.
I think.
In the comic books, there is Wayne Manor and then there's Wayne Tower. But in this film, they called it Wayne Manor, as far as I could tell. And it looked like a manor. In this version...
It was like 20 stories high, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little confusing, because Alfred apparently was up in... There's like a penthouse up on the top or something.
I guess so.
But then, like, the Batcave is down underneath somehow.
Yeah, I mean...
That was a little confusing now.
In the Dark Knight trilogy, what is that, starting with the second Dark Knight?
Oh, yeah, like after
the actual Dark
Ra's
Knight.
al Ghul burns down Wayne Manor. And then he has to, like, live in that underground thing out in the middle of... Or out in the outskirts of Gotham or something.
Well, no, I thought that was Wayne Tower. I thought that was a sub-basement in Wayne Tower.
Oh, you mean where he was living? Yeah, like he was on the top of... He was on like in a penthouse suite or something.
But I thought the place where they tested the Batmobile with Freeman, I thought that was under the tower.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, it was an R&D in the R&D area of Wayne Tower. Yeah, that was.
Well, in the comics, they did this,
which I guess was the bottom floor, because in the third movie, like Bane and his people come up through the floor somehow. Yeah. Anyway.
I don't remember if it was the Nightfall story arc or what period of the comic it was. Batman, the writers had Batman and Alfred and all, whatever, go live in Wayne Tower in the penthouse on the top, and then there's a Batcave sub-basement underneath Wayne Tower. And so I believe that's what the Dark Knight film was drawing on. But for this, the Batman with Matt Reeves, it seems like they just combined Wayne Tower with Wayne Manor.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I
was a little confused, I was like, wait. Because he drove quite a ways. I'm like, did he drive from the tower to Wayne Manor? But then later when, like, there's that explosion where Alfred's at, it's, like, on the top of the tower. Yeah. So that was confusing.
It is confusing. And, was it the Riddler or someone else complains about Bruce Wayne being up in that manor tower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that rich
like
boy
looking
growing
down.
up.
Yeah. Like
so
you were a rich orphan, you didn't know what a real orphan, being a real orphan was, that kind of thing.
Speaking of that, do you think the Riddler really knew who Batman was, or do you think that it seemed like
they left, like, they make you think that initially, but then they dropped a couple things that made me wonder. It's like, I don't know if they were trying to make it ambiguous. It's like they kind of did that as well with, like, where for a while they were going towards where Carmine Falcone was going to basically order a hit on Bruce's parents. They were going in that direction, but then Alfred says a couple things that make you wonder. He's like, oh, we were never sure, bad Alfred, but like, he's like, we were never sure. Maybe it was just, some random act of violence or what, but
they thought it was Falcone,
which was actually a little bit of a letdown for me, because I actually liked where they were going. I liked that idea better than like a random Joe Chill.
Oh yeah,
shooting them because he was trying to rob them. Like, I kind of like the idea of it being Falcone that ordered that. I don't know if that was in the comic at some point of him ordering a hit.
Well, actually, I'm trying to remember.
It's not in the Long Halloween, which I know this borrows some from the Long Halloween, but like.
Right, and so you're probably aware that in the Batman comics, probably the Long Halloween, I forget, Thomas Wayne actually does work on Falcone.
I did remember that. Yeah.
So that was lifted directly from the comics, and I really liked that when I saw that in the film. And I think in both the film and the original comics, that makes Falcone think that, Bruce Wayne is going to be in his pocket, but he won't be. But anyway, or something. But
yeah, like he, or well,
but I like that. There's a
no, it was the favor. Like he does that favor for Thomas during his mayoral campaign. Like Thomas wanted him to rough somebody up for him, but then Falcone goes further and kills him.
Yeah, which I'm confused about, because I didn't think any other version of Thomas Wayne had political ambition.
Yeah, that was new. I liked that, actually. I liked that it was a different take on, at least than I had been familiar with, on Thomas Wayne. Like, I've seen the take of, like, was it one of the Flashpoint ones where, like, he's Batman, Thomas Wayne is Batman?
Oh, yes, yeah.
I think it's the Flashpoint paradox, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Spoiler
on that, by the way.
And Martha Wayne is the Joker.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Wait, in that?
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. That.
Bruce Wayne's the one that gets shot in the alley. Mom goes crazy, and Thomas Wayne. Mom goes crazy and becomes a Joker, and Thomas Wayne.
Wow, family drama.
Becomes an alcoholic, murderous Batman who uses guns.
But has like he's like more of an anti-hero than Batman even normally is. Batman's sort of an anti-hero as it is, but like it's like on another level. But doesn't he helps Flash though eventually, like in the Flashpoint paradox, doesn't he? Like
he in the Flashpoint
maybe just for his own ends. I'm trying to remember. I might be getting the title of the comic wrong, but yeah. So it was different portrayal of Thomas and Martha, like Martha having mental health problems, which
I don't know.
Maybe that's reminiscent of the Flashpoint thing.
Yeah, because I really don't know if Martha ever had mental health problems in any of the other.
I was trying to remember.
Material.
Yeah, I couldn't recall. But then I've not read literally every Batman comic, so I can't say.
Well, I know there was this one Batman comic where they revealed Martha Wayne was the real target, and both her and her husband were killed because she was on the verge of exposing a sex trafficking ring.
Oh,
but
that's cool.
That's not main continuity.
That really props her up a bit, because she never gets a lot of love in the comics. Is often more Bruce and his dad kind of thing, kind of synergy, or not synergy, but like the father and son connection thing. Like, and again, I have not read all Batman comics, so I'm sure there's one out there somewhere where that's more.
So
why did you say that name? No, sorry, I just thought of Batman v Superman. Pardon me.
So my review for the Batman, I really liked it. I love the detective side was really brought out. Some people on the internet I saw were complaining there wasn't enough action, but for me,
oh dude,
I'm a fan of Sherlock Holmes to a certain point, and some of the portrayals of Sherlock Holmes I really love. So I really love to see Batman actually being a detective. I mean, he's called the greatest detective, the world's greatest detective. So I'm glad that we actually get to see him, actually solve riddles and do detective work.
I love that. Like Nolan does a little bit of that with like.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking of like Bruce Wayne or not Bruce Wayne, but Batman. I mean, same person, obviously, but like when Batman pulls the bullet fragments out of the wall and he's like doing the testing down in that room, like, so you get some of that in Nolan's series, but it just felt. Well, it really felt like a film noir in a lot of ways, like just a crime, like a police procedural, except the partners were Batman and Gordon, instead of
that.
Gordon and another detective.
I really liked that we got to see a lot of Gordon and Batman working together.
Yeah. No, and I have to say, this is not me bashing the Nolan's Gordon, and forgive me, I can't think of the actor's name right now that portrayed him. Dang it.
I think that actor...
Can't think of his name. But he did a great job.
Yeah.
But I think or at least the relationship, and maybe that has more to do with the writing and the directing. Certainly not caliber of actors. I mean, you have similarly great actor portraying Gordon in the Nolan films. I wish I could think of his name right now. I feel bad. He was also in the Harry Potter films.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Forget. Was he?
Sirius Black.
He was.
Yeah, and he's kind of a chameleon. Like
Okay.
he can like just he's like a method actor that can just drop into almost any
Neat.
role. He played I think Winston Churchill in some film not too long ago. But anyway, Jeffrey Wright I really liked as Gordon, and I thought their relationship really worked. And I kind of like the fact that he was a little older than Batman, but he was still just a lieutenant. Like he wasn't the commissioner yet.
I noticed that.
Yeah, like, and then the commissioner gets killed, obviously, by the Riddler, and
I assume that Gordon will be commissioner by the sequel, but we'll see.
I definitely saw like some similar storyline points. You know, some similarities between this film and The Dark Knight. Like,
oh yeah,
like the Riddler did some similar things to what the Joker did in that, which I guess is because both films borrow from The Long Halloween and I think another comic, which I just started reading this one the other day, Dark Victory, which is a sequel to The Long Halloween. But
I didn't know that.
The Long Halloween is basically a police procedural. You've read it, right? Like, they have the serial killer that's on the loose, and they're trying to figure out who... Really?
It's no, you know what?
Dude,
I gotta admit,
you gotta read it.
A lot of my...
It's one of the best.
I've got Frank Miller's book on my shelf, but a lot of my information and knowledge comes from reading Wikipedia and YouTube videos.
Okay. That works too. I mean,
so I know about stuff, but
stealing other people's knowledge. No,
I haven't read all the comics myself, but
you got to check that one out at some point.
Yeah.
The Long Halloween. I think it might have been one of the first graphic novels I read of Batman, and one of the best too, and that I've read.
I saw the cartoon.
Yeah. I need to watch that again. Actually, have I seen that yet? I think I have. Yeah, I believe I have. But yeah, the graphic novel is excellent. I mean, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale are probably two of my favorite team so far.
I remember.
Amongst the Batman comic book writers and artists. Like, I like the art style, I like the writing in that. Like, Frank Miller, like, his stories were interesting, but I don't know if he did his own art or someone else did it. But I didn't like the art style so much in the graphic or in the comics.
No, Frank Miller was just the writer. I can't remember the artist.
It was a little too abstract for me.
Oh, okay.
Like, or just a little too off the wall, I guess. Like, the films they did, I thought toned it down a little bit, like the art style. I enjoyed both of the films. Like, in fact, I'd rank that. I did a top 5 Batman films recently. I ranked that as as number 5. Like both part 1 and 2 together. Like, where Peter Weller does the voice of Batman, and I can't remember if Mark Hamill came back for Joker or if it was somebody else. But
I don't think Frank. You said Mark Hamill. I don't think Mark Hamill played Joker in the.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Like, it was somebody else.
Animated adaptation.
I know he did The Killing Joke. Like, Mark Hamill came back for The Killing Joke. I don't know if you've seen that recently, but that's really dark.
Yeah, I saw that. I've read The Killing Joke.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
In black and white, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a hardcover. I got to borrow it for a bit. Don't own it.
So anyway, let's get back to The Batman. So something I didn't talk as much about in my reaction, I don't remember if you did much in yours either, was Paul Dano's performance as the Riddler. What did you think? Like,
well, it was definitely not my favorite Riddler costume, but as soon as he took off I accepted it. You know, I accepted it. It was fine. It's just, you know, he wasn't the dapper Riddler that I'm used to, but it makes sense why he didn't show his face.
Until he was ready, at least.
Yeah. And when he did show his face, I was like, that is the face of the Riddler. I liked him. He looks convincingly like Edward Nygma. Speaking of which, I can't remember what comic they pulled this from, but I think there was a retcon somewhere in the comics where they decided his real name's not Nygma. And they point that out in the film because he's got like several identities and the cops don't know what his last name is.
Oh yeah, even because I was rewatching that Batman the Animated Series episode, and they even talked about it a little bit.
Really?
Like,
I forgot.
Because Robin and Batman are sitting in the Batmobile riding together, and they talk about, you know, when you see his name on like his nameplate, or was it Enigma, and they're like, oh, Robin's like, oh yeah, a puzzle or a riddle. Enigma, and that got me thinking. I was like, oh wait, is that not his real name? Did he create that name for himself because it would? It's interesting. I was like,
yeah, that's the new continuity. I think the old continuity, his name really was Edward Nygma, but I think that sometime throughout maybe the last 20 years, I'm not sure when they retconned it, one of the writers was just like, that's too on the nose. So
yeah, Edward Nygma, yeah. Enigma.
Yeah, so that's the new canon, is that he
reminds me of something Stan Lee might have come up with. Huh? Makes me think of something Stan Lee might have come up with. I'm like,
I don't know. Yeah. Enigma.
Yeah. So I liked his. I only talked about his performance a little bit in mine, but like I really liked his performance as well. Like, and I've seen him in other things that if you've seen the movie Looper, he plays. It's kind of a.
Is that the Bruce Willis film?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I want to.
Really good
I
film.
Seen it.
Really good film. I highly recommend it. He plays like. He's one of the loopers, which they go back in time to assassinate people, and then they come back, So he's one of the assassins, but he's kind of a whimpering assassin, He's like not particularly courageous. I mean, compared to Bruce Willis / Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. Anyway, but I liked his performance in that, and I think I may be mixing this up. I think he was in Unbreakable. I might be getting mixed up with a different actor, but I think he played the son in Unbreakable with Bruce Willis.
I don't know.
I want to say. I need to look this up, but I think that might have been my first. I think that was Paul Dano. Anyway, but yeah, no, I thought you definitely feel the crazy there in a way. Yeah. Like they play with that a lot more. Because like the animated series Riddler, like he's very suave and intelligent, but there's not the crazy. He's almost, he comes off as basically sane. More so anyway. Which I found out when I rewatched that the other day. He was voiced by John Glover. From Smallville. He played Lionel Luthor in Smallville.
Okay.
I saw that. I was like, what? That's cool. Anyway, so you liked his performance as well, Paul Dano.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I absolutely see him coming back in the sequel. I want to talk about where this sequel's going. We can do that now. We can do that later.
Let's see. Well, let's see.
But I'm kind of hoping he gets a little more dapper in the sequel, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, like he it didn't seem like it had that, but maybe now that he's got a friend, albeit a crazy friend.
Yeah,
the Joker.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, is this a Joker? He's in this. The Joker.
He's like not the Joker yet, right? I think Matt Reeves has even confirmed that. Like,
really? I didn't know that.
He's not identified himself as the Joker yet, but obviously he's already in Arkham Asylum, so he did something.
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to figure out. How this version of the Joker got into Arkham Asylum. I have to say the Joker because no one really knows his true identity.
Oh yeah.
Arthur Fleck.
They do give him. Yeah, they give him a name in
film,
like the Mask of the Phantasm, right? Oh, like because they do have the Joker's origin.
He was basically Joe Chill in that film, I thought. But
did he shoot Martha?
Huh?
I don't think he shot Martha and Thomas though. Did he? Like I know he was like a thug for the gangsters, right, or something like that.
I don't know. I thought he did in that film, but it's been a long time since I've seen Mask of the Phantasm.
Me too. Yeah, it's one of my top 5. I need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say until Batman Begins and The Dark Knight came out, it was the best Batman film in my opinion. Like until those came out.
Yeah, definitely.
Arguably, I mean, I've got it placed higher than Batman Begins on my list, like just above it, but.
So I'm just wondering if, the Joker, because I don't have a better name for him, the unnamed inmate. From their end credits. So the unnamed inmate says that a comeback tour or something. We can make a comeback. I forget. Maybe he didn't say tour, but he says comeback, and definitely a comeback for Riddler. But I'm just thinking comeback. Did he previously fight Batman and get put in there? The origin for the Joker in the comics is that he's Red Hood, And
really?
he falls into the acid vat in the chemical plant. So what if... I'm just thinking maybe he and Batman already have a history, even though he might not yet be the Joker, but that wasn't my instant reaction. My instant reaction is that what if he's already fought Batman and Batman put him in Arkham Asylum, which would be really weird that you wouldn't show that.
Maybe they will in the second movie, though.
Yeah.
Because you wonder, because the gang that Batman fights at the first, I mean, obviously, even in the trailer, people started wondering that. It's
the gang.
Do they have a connection to the Joker? Because they had painted faces that kind of was reminiscent of the Joker's painted face.
I'll have to look at that again.
It's but yeah, it's all over the trailer. But then that's the first scene of the movie too. He's they're in the subway and they chase that guy, and they're gonna do an initiation. So the young boy has to beat the guy up as his initiation rite, and then the Batman makes his entrance. What do you think of his boots? Because it almost sounded like a cowboy, where they're clanking as he was coming.
I don't know. I like that. It's an IMAX. The whole theater shut.
Yeah,
that was nice.
I loved his entrances in this one. I thought that one part where they're in the Gotham Square Garden, and I liked how organic it was too. There was some kind of gas line or something going around. I don't know if neon gas or what. And he blows it up, he punctures it, and then you see the smoke rising, and then he just dives through it and tackles that guy. It was that was cool.
It was cool.
And then the bat. What'd you think of the bat gadgets? He had quite a few different ones. I thought they were pretty cool.
Trying to remember. Yep, trying to remember.
Obviously, he's got the grappling.
Yeah.
The traditional. Although this one was built into his, I think, his arm. I don't know what you call that.
Oh,
arm
really?
blade, arm pack. I think it comes out and shoots it up. I don't think he pulled it out of his. Huh. I could be wrong though. I was trying to remember if he pulled it out of his belt.
This is why I need to watch these films more than once. Anyway.
Yeah.
There's always things that you miss until some second or third watching, and then you start noticing.
We should go see it again in a cheap theater.
Yeah.
Shh. A cheap theater. Yeah. Try not to give away too much information. Yeah.
I'm sure every place has a cheap theater somewhere.
This is true, but I was trying not to name an actual place, because I want to be anonymous. No. And that's why I'm doing a podcast that I'm publishing for the whole world to hear. No, let's see. All right, I think we're losing steam here. We're both getting tired a bit.
Yeah, we are.
We can pick this up again. What if that would be fun if we go and see it again together?
Yeah,
and then we do a second reaction, a second instant reaction, where we talk about what we liked to, and didn't like the next time, because there'll probably be some plot points that we pick up on.
Yeah.
You're so, especially in IMAX, I mean, you're just so engrossed that first time. You're just oh, this is so awesome. It's which it is. I mean, and I think I'm still going to feel that way the second time, but I'm sure I'll pick up a few things out where I'm they could have done that better. There'll be something, I'm sure. But I couldn't think of a whole lot on the first watch. I loved almost all of it. I can't really think of much that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Even down to the Penguin. Colin Farrell's the Penguin. I liked what they did with that, where they took that, where he was Carmine Falcone's right hand.
I like that. I
was
like the actor.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell it was Colin Farrell though. If I hadn't known, I wouldn't have guessed.
I don't keep up
between the makeup and the accent.
The actors.
I couldn't tell.
I loved Batman's journey, transformation by the end of the film.
Yeah.
From vengeance to hope.
Yeah.
I love that.
Probably the most hopeful ending to a Batman film, right?
I really loved him interacting with the citizens like that.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's what I really like about superheroes. I like ground level superheroes. I don't like superheroes that save the planet, but they never save one citizen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, where the stakes are too cosmic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I loved how I don't remember which comic they pulled it from, but I loved how they pulled from the comics Catwoman's father is Falcone.
Ah, so that wasn't the comic. I was wondering, like, I wasn't familiar with the specific iteration, but I figured it probably was at some point.
I don't remember a lot about that, but I heard about it before I saw this film, so I knew it came from one of the comics. And before we shut off, I was hoping to talk about where this new film franchise is going.
Yeah,
and it is a franchise.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be at least a trilogy, right?
Yeah, but and I just remembered this earlier today because in preparation of talking today, but they're doing a GCPD, an HBO Max TV series based in this universe.
Oh yeah, aren't they? They're doing isn't Penguin getting his own series? I think.
Yeah, and Penguin's getting his own series, and I didn't know about that till today. There was some other series they were going to do, but I think it got canceled for the Penguin or turned into the Penguin. I don't remember what that was.
That should be cool. Like, yeah, so many streaming services now are like tying stuff into movies. Like, obviously Marvel's doing that quite a bit.
So
now,
Warner Brothers and DC are trying to keep up.
Oh yeah, they're always trying to keep up with Marvel.
Well, I gotta say,
in regards to movies, anyway. I will say that though the DC animated movies are better than the Marvel animated.
That's true. Opinion. That's true. But anyway, I'll maybe save some of these thoughts for next time. But jump to where this is going. Did you pick up? I mean, it's I thought I was being smart, but apparently, like, this is well known where this is going. Do you know where this is going for a sequel?
My first thought was No Man's Land.
Yeah, exactly. No Man's Land. Yeah, so it's not a secret.
Yeah, like, well, as soon as
they spelled it out at the end.
Yeah, like, definitely. Like, they definitely evoked it very clearly. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be a direct take on No Man's Land, but
but there's quite a few things they can't do in this universe.
Yeah, but some of the similar scenarios where, like, Gotham is going to, like, I forget the specifics of why Gotham got cut off from the rest of the, like, so
earthquake.
They got legit cut off from the rest of the country almost.
It was an earthquake.
I read the novel first. I actually haven't read the.
Oh, cool!
I haven't read the graphic novel because it was a regular novel first. I think, written by Greg Rucka. And then I found somebody. I need to find it again. I was talking about this the other day on one of my episodes. Like, I found somebody that did just a fan drama, but they did a radio drama adaptation.
I saw that on YouTube too. I didn't watch it.
On YouTube as well?
I didn't have
Maybe that's where I found it.
Yeah.
But no, this was just audio drama. Like,
cool.
Like, they did their own rendition of No Man's Land. But
well, I think it's.
I got excited when when Riddler's plan started happening and he started blowing up, and I was like, oh, No Man's Land. Anyway.
But yeah, I think that's where they're going. I think they pretty much spelled it out at the end that there's going to be warring factions. In the No Man's Land, I'm sure you've obviously know more than I do, to be honest, because you've actually read or listened to the novel. And my knowledge of No Man's Land is I've seen some of the pages, but mostly just watching YouTube and Wikipedia stuff to catch up on all this history of the Batman in the DC universe. But the Joker. My prediction, based on the No Man's Land, is the Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin, and I think that we're expecting at least one or two other villains to be introduced. They're going to be fighting the Batman and the GCPD for territory.
I've heard rumors Mr. Freeze might be one of them.
Cool,
which is exciting.
Cool. I wonder how they would do that in such a grounded universe, though.
Yeah, it should be really interesting. Like, something with cryogenics, I'm assuming, but like,
well, they can make it somewhat realistic. Yeah,
but obviously, it'll be better than Arnold Schwarzenegger as
Mr.
Freeze.
Mr. Freeze needs to happen again just to do the character justice.
Exactly. Yeah, because the animated series, the animated series Freeze is And I think he was even invented, I think, for the animated series, was he not?
No,
he was not.
No,
okay.
He was reinvented for the animated series.
Okay.
Before that, he was just a diamond jewel thief. You know, he likes ice, he likes diamonds. You know, he was just one-dimensional, really.
So
that was
the
his only driving
series,
force. Yeah.
Paul Dini and his cohorts really fleshed it out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
nice.
If you've, I used to watch the Adam West 1966 Batman late at night and stuff growing up as a kid.
Like TV Land or something.
Yeah, TV Land, exactly. and I've got that full series on DVD now, but
nice.
Mr. Freeze is definitely in it.
Really?
I think he might get played by two different actors. They had this thing where they would bring in someone had a different face for no reason.
I know I've seen quite a few episodes from the 60s TV series, but I have not seen the whole thing.
But yeah,
that must have been one I missed.
Mr. Freeze is an older Batman rogue villain. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Well, I've heard rumors of that. I mean, obviously the Joker, that's already confirmed, I think. It's going to be in the next film.
And I heard about this story where the Joker busts Riddler out of prison. So if that's going to happen here, I just wanted to point out in that particular storyline, the Riddler actually the Joker actually betrays the Riddler. So that might happen.
But that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Because I think, like in the No Man's Land novel, if memory serves me, it's been a long time since I read it, but I do believe there were some uneasy alliances between some of the villains.
Probably.
Like Two-Face had his own area of the city that he was overseeing. I think the Penguin had his own territory. I think Joker might have been more like a roving band of marauders or whatever. I don't know if he had an actual territory. I'm trying to remember. But this took place like in it's going to be different because in the novel it takes place much later in Bruce Wayne's / Batman's life. Like he's older.
And he has allies.
And then initially, like Huntress was already around at that point.
Pretends to be Batman.
Then Barbara Gordon has already gotten
Oracle.
shot. This is after the Killing Joke, so she's already in a wheelchair up in the clock tower or watchtower.
Yeah, the clock tower.
And so she's already up there.
Watchtower is Justice League.
So there's some reason why it was like a quarantine thing where the government gave people the option to leave, but they'd had to leave forever. So you could either stay in Gotham and try to tough it out, or you had to leave and just leave it behind.
I think they only gave the people 3 days to get out.
I forget. Yeah, it probably wasn't long. But yeah, Jim Gordon and his second wife,
Sarah something.
Yeah, Sarah. Stay behind, and then obviously Barbara does as well. And Batman at the beginning of it, Batman's just gone. Like he just abandons the city.
Well, he's out in Washington trying to
he's
Washington to aid Gotham.
Yeah, he's doing something important, but I don't know that Jim Gordon knew it was Bruce Wayne at that point.
No,
I don't think.
I heard that their relationship was.
Yeah, it got very strained, and Jim Gordon was obviously pissed because Batman just disappeared on him and didn't tell him.
They could still do that.
Yeah. So they could do something along the lines. Different, obviously, because it's only year 2, so instead of being like Batman in his 40s or whatnot, or close to his 40s anyway. I don't know how old Batman is supposed to be in this one. I don't know if he's supposed to be Robert Pattinson's age. He feels younger. He feels like 20s.
I'd say young.
The way he plays him feels younger, as well as the way that Catwoman was played. Felt like
love this Catwoman
20-something. Yeah, me too. I think she's right up there with the animated series Catwoman in my mind. I
like her more than Batman Returns. Although that was a good costume, though.
Yeah.
Crazy origin, but we won't. That's off topic.
Falling to her quote-unquote death.
The cat's licking me. I'm crazy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's completely off topic.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. After I'd seen the animated series, seeing Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman was just like, what?
Yep.
It's I get that she's hot, but no. And I've never even bothered to see Halle Berry's rendition. I've heard so many bad things about Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Has what?
Halle Berry played Catwoman, and it was
I have not seen that, and I will not see that. Probably.
Me neither. Maybe one day just to make fun of it.
Yeah.
It's how bad it is. Kind of kind of like the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. Like, if I watch it again, it'll probably be more to make fun of it. Like,
wait, that was Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he was so skinny.
Ben Affleck and what's her name, Jennifer Garner. That's where they met on that movie. It wasn't absolutely terrible, but it was bad though.
Black Kingpin could work, but why does Daredevil sleep in a water chamber tube?
Yeah. Oh man.
Is that from the comics?
Well, it's getting late, and you and I have work tomorrow, so we should probably wrap this up.
Work.
So let's see. So final notes on the Batman. So we both want to go see it again before it leaves theaters, which I'm sure it'll be in theaters quite a while, as much money as it's making right now. Somewhere like Spider-Man is still in the regular theaters. Like, that thing's made almost $2 billion. It's crazy. I think this is on a similar pace. It's going to make a lot of money. I imagine it might surpass The Dark Knight. I could see it doing that. Like, I know its opening weekend, I think, was just maybe 10 million better than The Dark Knight's opening weekend, which at the time The Dark Knight set a record, I think, for opening weekend, at least definitely for a Batman film, maybe for any film at that point. Anyway, but yeah, it should be out in theaters for a while, and or either that, or we could wait until it comes out on HBO Max and watch it together at that point.
True.
Yeah.
You still have HBO Max?
I don't, but
okay.
I will get it again. And I've been kind of going in cycles with my streaming services where like I'll wait until a new series, either like Netflix, like for the most part drops theirs all at once, but then a lot of the other streaming series, they're getting smart about it. They're doing it like network TV used to do, where they release it weekly and you have to keep the subscription. If you want to watch it in real time, you got to keep it for a couple months to see the whole series. But on some of them, I'm like waiting until the season is done, and then I subscribe for a month and then binge it. Like
that's
Picard,
what I did with Amazon.
Like Star Trek Picard. I definitely want to see that season 2. It's going on right now, but I've got a couple other subscriptions going, so I'm kind of waiting a little bit, and then I'm gonna get Paramount Plus for a month, so then I can binge Picard, and then I can finish Discovery, which I haven't watched the rest of Discovery yet. So stuff like that. So yeah, HBO Max. I've been kind of waiting for Westworld season 4 to come out, because I'm looking forward to that. And then obviously, if they do a season 2 of Watchmen, like, I don't know if you've seen The Watchmen yet, but it's really good.
Oh, the TV series?
Yeah, the HBO Max series.
No, I haven't.
Oh man, yeah, it's really good.
Cool.
If you don't mind a little male nudity,
I mind a lot of blue dingus. Okay.
Yeah,
his eyes will not see the blue dingus. More than ass.
I'll tell you this much. There's no female nudity, but there is male nudity, a decent amount, especially in one episode, more than the movie, I will tell you. And there is a man-on-man sex scene at some point as well. So just fair warning. But yeah, no female nudity
what
at all.
What is that, HBO Max?
HBO Max,
okay.
yeah. So it earns its mature rating, with the violence as well, but it's so much better than the movie. Oh my goodness! And I know it's a sequel, obviously, and the movie was okay, but it's like this. It's so much better. Oh, man. So much better.
Have you read the comic?
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
Well,
and
how would you?
The comic is better than the movie for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's elements of the movie that I liked, like Rorschach. I think was probably the highlight of that first movie.
I like Off-Brand, not the question.
Oh yeah.
I'm kidding. You know the origins, but that's a different.
Oh yeah.
Conversation.
I didn't hate the movie, but
not Batman, but it was, not Superman, and.
But yeah, the series is much better in my opinion. And obviously it's a sequel, so it's not a remake.
Right.
But yeah, just tonally and the way it's written, and obviously they have more time, they can flesh out the characters more. But it was really good. I highly recommend it.
He's not being paid by these people either.
Who?
It was a sponsor joke.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, HBO Max. I'm not sponsored by Warner Brothers, DC Comics, or HBO,
or the writer.
Yeah, whoever that is. Oh wait, Alan Moore.
Yeah, I think so.
No, not Alan Moore.
Alan Grant? No, that was Jurassic Park.
Speaking of which, We should.
Oh yeah,
when that
I'm
comes
looking
out,
forward to that.
Yeah, man, that'll be one of our Camel City Comic Geeks episodes. Will be after we see Jurassic Park, or the final episode in the saga.
We should, like, rename ourselves the Cameloids.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to reboot it later with other actors, or have a TV series or something. I'm sure. Yeah, it's not going to be the end of Jurassic Park.
I've been watching Camp Cretaceous. Might have a new season out I hadn't seen yet. Cancel Netflix.
Oh yeah, isn't it like the Lego version? No. It's on the. Oh yeah, I think I saw that last time on Netflix.
It's by DreamWorks.
Ah, okay.
It's good, actually.
Okay. To check that out at some point. But no, I'm
only adults
excited.
are allowed to be eaten by dinosaurs.
I didn't care much for the last Jurassic Park movie or the Jurassic World movie that came out. I'll be honest, like it was like I take it or leave it.
Yeah, me too.
It's like but yeah, I am kind of excited about this one where they're bringing the whole team back, including Ellie. So yeah, Ellie's sad. Anyway, we're gonna end this sucker. So, this is the Irreverent Nerd and
a cartoonist Will
signing off. We bid you adieu, our fellow nerds. Until next we meet.
Adios.
Au revoir. We'll see you later. Maybe. Yes. My fellow nerds, thank you for joining me for another episode of the Irreverent Nerd Podcast. Check me out on Instagram at irreverent_nerd. That is at irreverent_nerd. Look up my hashtag. It's hashtag Irreverent Nerd. You'll see posts that I've made in general. You should be able to follow me. Oh yeah, I'm on YouTube as well. Irreverent Nerd. And if you follow on the Instagram page, the link tree, also in the Spotify podcast description, the link tree will send you to either the podcast on Apple or on Spotify. My Instagram page is linked there, as well as a bonus. There's a meme profile I have where I've created quite a few memes over the past year. Not all of them, not just the ones for my Instagram page, but others as well. So check me out there. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and you'll be hearing me next Wednesday.